What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Before this video starts, I just wanted to remind you that I am hosting a giveaway at 3,000 subscribers for this AK Aquamarine Revenge in factory new condition, $120 value. To enter, all you have to do is make sure you're subscribed and leave a comment down below. I'll be picking the winner as soon as we hit 3,000 subscribers. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the new trading changes introduced by Valve. Make sure that you stick around until the end to be fully informed, because I'm going to be basically telling you guys everything that I know at the moment. Now, I personally waited a day to make this video because I wanted to make sure that all the information could come out before I made the video, and there has been a lot of information that has been coming out recently. As you guys might know, Valve just recently, 2 days ago, has introduced a new feature to trading where newly acquired items are invisible for 10 days. So pretty much if you receive an item in a trade, it is still trade locked for 7 days. It is also invisible for 10 days or 3 days on top of the trade lock. Now, the reason that I think Valve did this was to combat scammers. So for example, if you guys have ever gotten a expensive item in your inventory, you might know that a bunch of bots will comment under your profile, or they'll add you all the time. Me personally, I get a bunch of scammers pretending to be buff bots adding me, just basically trying to take my items. Well, this new feature, it makes your items when you first get them invisible so that you cannot get scammed right away. And the main feature of this, I guess, is supposed to be to just stop scammers. But this change has had so many inadvertent consequences, it is insane. So personally, I thought that the 7-day trade hold was to stop scammers. I don't understand why there needs to be a 7-day trade hold and 10 days where your item is invisible. So overall, when this update first came out, I was pretty annoyed by it, but I didn't think that it was going to be the end of the world. But after Valve made the update, about 8 hours after they made the update, they started making changes to the actual API itself. If you don't know, the API is basically how peer-to-peer trading websites track trades. So what would happen on peer-to-peer trading websites is you would buy a skin off of a person, and then if the person traded the skin to you, the trading website, if they have your API key, they basically would be able to tell that you received the item. They would just check your inventory every now and then in pretty regular intervals, and if the item showed up in your inventory, they know that the person traded it to you, and vice versa. So if you were selling a skin on a peer-to-peer trading website, all you would have to do is trade it to that person, and the website would check the other person's API key to make sure that they received the new item. And this is all working completely flawlessly before on websites like CS2 and GamerPay and Buff.163, but with these new changes to the API, the items are just completely invisible, meaning that if someone buys an item from you and you trade it to them, the item is completely invisible in their inventory for 10 days. So this update has completely ruined peer-to-peer trading websites. From what I understand, there is no way for peer-to-peer websites to run anymore because they just cannot authenticate trades. Now, there might be a workaround to this. Obviously, I am not a developer and I don't really work with API keys very often. I only have limited knowledge on this subject, but it is a pretty scary situation because peer-to-peer trading websites are what I use pretty much every single day, and if they are not working anymore, it is a scary sight. Also, just a bit of my personal opinion, I think that Valve didn't think this through at all, and honestly, sorry for cussing here, but I think that this is stupid as hell. I do not understand what this update does to combat scamming, and honestly, no one else can seem to piece the update together either. Basically, yeah, it makes sense if you look at it from the point of view of the rare instance where someone will receive an item in a trade, or they will open an item from a case that is super expensive and they don't know how expensive it is, so they want to just sell it right away, or maybe they get scammed. For example, if someone opens a M9 bayonet sapphire, if they don't realize that it's a sapphire and they think that it's just a cool looking Doppler, they could sell it for way under market value at the Doppler price because they just don't know, which I guess is why Valve is hiding the items for 10 days, because they don't want people to influence you when you're trying to do research on your skin to see how much it's actually worth. So in that one instance, this update makes sense, but in every single other instance that I can possibly think of, this update makes no sense at all. For example, let's say that you get scammed for your skin. skin. If your skin is in that person's inventory that just scammed you, you would never know. And there's no way to prove that you were actually scammed, because if you look at their inventory, that item is just not there. And the craziest thing is that the trade hold is still 7 days. So there's a 3-day grace period where you can trade the skin, and it is also invisible, which means that if your item gets scammed, it can just be funneled through multiple different accounts and you would never be able to find it, because it can be traded from one scam account inventory to another scam account inventory while it is still invisible. I personally just cannot wrap my head around why Valve thought this would be a good idea to introduce. I understand where they were coming from. This update just seems like the rough draft of the idea that they were going for. In my opinion, it feels like they just went into the meeting room and they were like, okay guys, how do we fix scamming on CS2 items? And then the first idea that came to mind, they automatically just implemented it without thinking of any of the consequences. It seems like someone just was like, okay, yeah, what if we just make the items invisible? And everyone in the room was like, oh yeah, good idea, yeah, we'll do that. And they just didn't think about it at all. I understand that I'm coming off as a little bit salty right now, but the reason why is because I care about this community and I care about the safety of people and the safety of people's items. And this update has just made all of the items become more unsafe in my opinion. This update, the way that I see it, is basically just a buff for these scammers. And honestly, that just scares me a lot. And I highly doubt that Valve will revert this change because they never pay attention to the community pushback. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and a comment down below. I really want to hear your guys' input on this situation. So if you guys do have strong opinions on this subject, please make sure to leave a comment below and hopefully we can get some discussion started. Also, I will be making a Discord server soon, hopefully within the next week or two, so that anytime something crazy like this happens again, we can keep each other up to date in there so we're all in the loop. Thank you guys so much for the support recently on the channel. It's been insane. Try your hardest to have a positive outlook on this situation, and I'll see you guys in the next one.